Hi, Tom.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well, thanks.
Look at this amazing place.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
I know, it's very neat. Can you talk about what these are and where we're at?
Well, we are sitting in one of the galleries of the Alberta Craft Council, which is on 102nd Avenue and 106th Street in downtown Edmonton. And surrounding us, there are pots, pieces of fiber art, garments, jewelry, furniture, woodwork, a whole range of fine craft that's made mainly in Alberta by Alberta Craft Council members.
I see. So we're at the headquarter of Alberta Craft Council, so to speak.
This is where a lot of it happens, yes. I mean, it's made all over the province, but it comes together here in Edmonton for this.
I see. Amazing. So can you tell me about the main role of Alberta Craft Council?
Well, yes. If you come to visit the Alberta Craft Council, you'll see exhibitions throughout the year. There are 18 during the year generally. You'll also see some really fabulous shopping because there would be work by about 140 craft artists here at any one time.
Wow.
And then there's a lot of behind-the-scenes activity that a visitor wouldn't see. And that's in the career support. So we do a magazine, for example, weekly e-news, an extensive website. Lots of sort of one-on-one services with members, and we spend quite a bit of time working with members on helping them sort of expand their creativity, improve their work, find better markets for it, just generally make it more sophisticated, more marketable, and actually just more acceptable as an art form as well.
I see. Oh, I'd love to sign up for the newsletter. Where can I sign up?
Well, you can do this online or you can visit the Craft Council. It's pretty easy to do.
I see. Okay. So I have this beautiful lady sitting beside me. Could you make me an introduction?
Yes. This is Valerie Baber, who has been a member of the Craft Council for a few years now.
I see.
She specializes in, she calls herself a fiber artist, and she does combinations of knitted and crocheted and other techniques that are, if I can do this, these sorts of fashion accessories.
Wow, beautiful.
And these are unique pieces. These are her designs. They're completely new ideas. So they're not hobby work. They're not kit work. They're the real McCoy. And she sells them in various places, including here at the Craft Council.
I see. So hi, Valerie.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. So I heard you're the very special one of the month, the artist of December, and also happens to be the last one of year 2014.
That's right.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, I think it's fantastic, and I'm very honored that I was chosen to do this this year. Because my work is winter and fall related, it fit in perfect for me. And it was really great at inspiring something new. So I began my inspiration for my architectural pieces.
I see.
And directly because they had asked me. So it was the perfect time to start something new and expand my...
Okay. So you mentioned your inspiration is coming from the architectural pieces. Is that your background, or...?
Well, I have my interior design, and when I was
see.
taking interior design, my favorite course was, of course, the history part, and I was just enthralled by the amazing artwork and the pieces and the people that worked so hard to make these one building, like a cathedral, and it just is so amazing. So this has always been on my mind since then, and then this was the perfect opportunity to start working with it and expand, and I will continue to work with this idea because there's so many more things I want to do with the architecture and make it into some interesting objects that aren't necessarily scars. So this is a really great opportunity that they gave me to start this process. So
Oh, it's very interesting. Yeah.
Very appreciated for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Cool. So, can either one of you tell me how the artist of the month is chosen every month?
Well, it's usually chosen about 6 months to a year in advance.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's the spotlight is what we're talking about. This Artist of the Month spotlight is intended to present new work by sort of an existing member. So it could be a new color line, it could be a new theme, it could be almost anything that we try to present as new work. So that's the purpose of it. But it's also stuff that is actually ready for sale. So this isn't so weird that you'd never want to take it home and wear it. It's actually something that's quite an appealing thing as a collector, or a collectible, or a product.
I see. So how's your connections with Alberta Craft Council? and how's the involvement with the ACC? Can you tell me?
Yeah, actually, because they've been a part of my life and my career, I am able to do what I do now. They pushed me gently to expand what I do to a level that I didn't realize I could do. They're really great at giving you opportunities to try new things and to create new things, and just keep elaborating on what your craft and your creative nature is. And they're just so always behind you. And
Like, I got your back.
yeah,
and
they
stuff.
really have your back. And it's just amazing to have somebody like that help you and guide you in your career to become something you never thought you could. And they're a fantastic group of people.
And we think this is important for two reasons. One is that the best work is always the most creative work, and the most creative work is always the best work. So this is why we don't try to persuade people to become small manufacturers. We want to think of themselves as artists, designers, craftspeople, whatever terms they want to use for that. But this is also a business strategy that we talk about all the time. And when you think about it, Valerie is one person who does this all herself. She has limited markets, limited access to markets.
Right.
And it's not the kind of thing that you're going to buy because it's a bargain. It's way more expensive than something that's been manufactured in China. But part of the reason it's unique is that it hasn't been manufactured at all.
That's right.
So we have this communication, this correspondence really with all of our visitors and customers here about why this is unusual, why it's special. And that's why we encourage people like Valerie to be more distinctive with their work, to not do the same thing as anybody else.
And more accessible.
Accessible and unique enough that it's the uniqueness that becomes the competitive edge. So then if it seems expensive, everybody can say, well, that's because it's unique.
That's right,
It's
yeah.
that simple.
I'm sure there's a lot of amateur artists or emerging artists that like to be involved with Alberta Craft Council and also with learn something from the people, pioneers of the artists, right? Any advice or suggestion that you two can give us? Maybe Valerie first?
Well, I just think that having the Alberta Craft Council, as I mentioned before, behind your back is just such an incredible stability. They help you see that you can reach for the stars that you didn't think you could.
So if someone is interested in this as an organization or as a service, anybody can join the Alberta Craft Council.
Okay.
And that can also be found, all that information can be found online simply by Googling Alberta Craft Council. So the next part of this question, if someone was inquiring, is that, first of all, to say that there are lots of people who do quite interesting stuff on a hobby basis, and that's great. Where the Craft Council comes in is if they've maybe graduated from art school or maybe self-trained or have a family tradition that they want to pursue, but they want to pursue it in some kind of a career direction, or even want to know what the career potential might be. So they might have tried selling their work a little bit here and there, and maybe it wasn't very successful, and maybe they're disappointed by that, and we might be able to figure out why. But it's when you get into this career path idea that you would probably want to join the Craft Council. Then there are just almost too many opportunities to list, but one of the most important ones is the advisory committee, which Valerie has been talking about.
I see.
And that's a group of staff and expert members who basically advise new members or ongoing members on any aspect of their career that they might be having issues with or having questions about. So that can lead on to exhibitions, it can lead on to retail activity, it can lead into media coverage of various sorts. I'm not sure, you had several good media hits over the last couple of years because we've been able to make those connections. So these are all, whatever it is that seems to be a good idea for an individual craft artist to enhance their fame and fortune is something that we try to work on with them.
I see.
So this is actually a little bit difficult to explain because there's simply so much variety to what happens around here. But the point is for us to do whatever we can to help somebody with their art form and turn it into a more viable portion of their career or all of their career. And this is actually quite successful over the long term too. We've got members who have won major national and international awards. We have members who have international reputations. And we actually do quite a bit of international activity as well. Nowhere near as much as we would like to do, but it's fairly steady activity.
I see. Wow, sounds like Alberta Craft Council has amazing support. Yes, all across Alberta. Okay, so you mentioned about the variety, so I just want to talk about the diversity. The Statistic Canada says 1 out of 5 Canadians are members of diverse communities. Is there any diversity in artistic side, or what would be the distinguishable character of Alberta craft or arts?
Well, I don't think I can answer that because there's so much and there's so much variety. In our building right now, we have work that is, we have Cree beadwork. We have things that represent Western and horse culture. We have people who have studied in or come from Japan, China, Korea. A number of European countries, and in the advisory committee we're working with somebody who's from Egypt. So the diversity might not be as obvious as you would think, but we do work on that. There's also another connection to the diversity, and that's this international exposure, because as you know, craft artists in Korea have quite a high cultural status. They're sometimes designated as intangible cultural assets, and there's a support structure there that's quite amazing. So we actually look to other countries, including places like Denmark and Korea, for inspiration as to how we can develop this particular creative sector. And we have done 3 major exhibition projects in South Korea because they really love Canadian and Alberta fine craft, and we're looking for more of those kinds of opportunities. We've done major exhibitions that have toured the US, have toured across Canada, have gone to places like Amsterdam. So we do as much of that as we can. Individual artists do this too, because there are quite a few of them who are well known internationally in their fields and have done things like studied in Japan or Korea or exhibit, or there are several Alberta Craft Council members who have, especially in ceramics, who have their work in big public collections in South Korea.
I see. That's awesome. Okay, so year 2015 is coming up, and I heard there's something exciting happening in art size. Can you tell us about it?
Well, this is Craft Year 2015, and this is another website that you can simply Google, Craft Year 2015.
Okay.
And this might actually be the biggest national craft event in the world. We don't know for sure because it's just starting. When we did the last one for Craft Year 2007, there were more than 700 events across Canada in every province and territory, and for longer than a year. So we're just gradually getting those organized and getting them online. There will be multiple exhibitions and extra projects here. We'll do extra projects in Calgary. All the other craft councils, many of the other craft organizations, many of the art galleries across the country, some of the museums, many of the colleges and universities and summer schools, and then also many of the guilds and single media associations. For instance, in rural Ontario, there are about 15 studio tours where you can go out for a weekend and drive and see studios. And I think all of those will be part of Craft Year 2015.
I'm very excited.
It's really big and really amazing.
I see. I'll look forward to what's going to happen in Alberta.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for having me here, and thanks for your precious time.
Thanks for your interest.
Thank
we really
you.
appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.